Naturopathic treatment for cancer is the main focus of our clinic. In the following video clips, we'll be speaking with some of our patients about their experiences with their cancer diagnoses, their treatment options, and their thoughts about having chosen our natural treatments for cancer.
This is CBS 5 News.
When chemotherapy and surgery don't work and the cancer just won't go away, what are you supposed to do? Well, coming up after the break, we'll share with you the heartwarming story of a woman who wouldn't quit and took on one big C. The fight against cancer is one of the most difficult fights any of us can ever go through. And it's a fight that costs people their lives, but more people are winning these days. And as CBS 5's Lisa Lee Kelly found out, chemotherapy and surgery aren't the only weapons in this battle.
Good girl.
Riding her beloved Arabian horse, Melanie Searle appears to be a healthy, active 58-year-old, not a woman who almost died last year from cancer.
Good girl.
Like the mare galloping freely from the stable, this lifelong horse lover has rediscovered hope.
Especially since I was unable to ride for a year. Feels really good to be back in the saddle.
Last year, Melanie endured physical hell. After being diagnosed with a rare form of endometrial cancer, she had a hysterectomy, intense chemotherapy, another surgery when the tumor quickly grew back, a clinical trial, and then radiation when the tumor grew back yet again. This once active career flight attendant for U.S. Airways knew her days were numbered until a friend recommended Dr. Colleen Huber, a naturopathic physician in Tempe.
Since I've been seeing Dr. Huber, not only has my tumor shrunk considerably, but I am feeling like my old self again.
Yeah, I'm just going to close this valve off so it doesn't back up.
Since their first appointment in November, Dr. Huber has hooked up Melanie 3 times a week to an IV. But the anti-cancer treatment dripping into Melanie's bloodstream isn't traditional chemotherapy. This is a mega dose of vitamin C, the elixir Melanie believes saved her life.
I started feeling better after the first 2 or 3 treatments.
Dr. Huber says the immediate return of vitality is typical in her patients. And she points to numerous studies that show vitamin C actually kills cancer cells, shrinking tumors.
Cancer is so greedy for blood that it will create new blood vessels to draw blood to it. Well, we take advantage of that and we put the vitamin C right in the bloodstream. So everywhere that that blood is going to feed that cancer, we're going there with that vitamin C.
The word is getting out. Huber has found herself inundated with cancer patients, some from out of state, moving to Arizona for these natural treatments. She even had to add another doctor to her practice.
In many states, naturopathic physicians are not licensed. And so this treatment is not readily available everywhere.
Dr. Huber says it's not enough to eat more oranges or even swallow a vitamin C pill. In each treatment, Huber's cancer patients receive 50 grams of vitamin C intravenously. That's the equivalent of 50 packets of the popular supplement Emergency all at once.
I think they're playing Russian roulette at this point.
Not surprisingly, conventional medicine warns against intravenous vitamin C treatment for cancer. Dr. Larry Bergstrom at the Mayo Clinic insists there are no legitimate studies to prove it works, even pointing out that some show vitamin C can interfere with certain anti-cancer drugs.
Physicians die of cancer, our loved ones die of cancer, so we have no reason to not want vitamin C to work. But we also don't want to raise false hopes.
Melanie and her family have all the proof they need.
Yeah, you knew it, didn't you?
They say conventional medicine almost killed her, and now she has a new lease on life.
We were afraid we wouldn't have her for another Christmas, and now we have hope. I mean, this whole treatment has been just a godsend.
I'll go with evidence. People who were sick, who went to naturopaths, had this treatment, and came out and they weren't sick anymore. You know? Maybe there's a connection there.
So what's the bottom line? A typical 3-month regimen of intravenous vitamin C will run you around $6,000. Even though that's much cheaper than a round of chemo, most people have to pay that out of pocket because typically insurance companies will not pay for alternative therapies. Lisa Lee Kelly, CBS 5 News.
My friend Patty that I had met one evening told me that, well, she became my friend on that night, but she had been to Dr. Huber, and she had liver, colon, and rectal cancer, and she has been free of cancer now 3 years. And I got so enthused by her attitude and her prognosis after treatment that I made the phone call the next week and started seeing Dr. Huber. And I'd been looking for the answers, and there they were.
Is she doing well?
She's doing awesome. She feels wonderful, and she's cancer-free.
Excellent. We did our job.
For anybody there that's considering cancer treatment, let me tell you, this is the best decision I ever made to come here.
Talking with Linda, and Linda has had a diagnosis of breast cancer.
Went and had an MRI. I had a mammogram, come to think of it,
Right.
first, yeah. So I had that, and that's how they detected it. So,
Yeah. And they it was invasive ductal carcinoma, right?
yes.
Yeah. And then just stage 1, grade 3, if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So, and then there was the oncologist, I think, recommended that you get surgery plus chemotherapy plus radiation. But you got the surgery.
I did. I
Yeah.
got the surgery, yes.
Yeah.
And I chose not to go with chemo, just because I heard how bad it was. So I was lucky to find this clinic where I could just do the natural way with the IVs. And what a difference. I mean, I feel great. I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been.
Excellent.
You know, it's just mainly giving up sugar and white
Yes.
flour, anything white flour. So it's easy. And I've lost quite a bit of weight, getting rid of all the nasty stuff in my diet, which is good, because I needed that. So, yeah, it's been very positive. The whole thing has been great. You know, I feel good. I feel very good. I mean, most people are surprised that I even had cancer, or maybe still, I don't think I still have it, but it's in my body probably. You know, maybe some point, I don't know, but I feel wonderful.
Well, our goal with these treatments, has been to go after the cancer cells. And
Right.
because surgery is very helpful in that it can get rid of a tumor, but cancer cells can get liberated by the surgery, get loosened to float in the bloodstream, and that's what we're targeting. That's what chemotherapy also targets.
Right.
But when we target those, we tend not to make you sick,
Right.
whereas chemotherapy tends to make people pretty sick. So.
Exactly. Oh yeah, from the patients that I've talked to here, terrible. You know, so.
You mean the chemotherapy that they've had in the past?
Yeah, that they had in the past here. Yeah,
Yeah.
how bad and the damage that it has caused them. So I'm thankful that I found this place and didn't have to go through the chemo. So,
Right.
So it was much easier on me, just not having to deal with chemo, because I know once these other patients have had chemo, they've had the damage. So now they've got to try to repair the damage through coming to you, plus they're not feeling good on top of it. So I didn't have to deal with that.
So now we're here talking with John today about his history of pancreatic cancer and how he came to find this clinic and what's been happening since that time of the diagnosis. How did everything begin?
It all began at the very beginning of May this year, and I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I heard about this from my brother-in-law, who is a patient here as well, and so I flew down here, met with you, and we talked about the possibilities. Went back to Utah, where I live, and visited with the doctors at the Huntsman Cancer Center and University of Utah. And so far I'm having no symptoms. It's now, it's going on 7 months now.
Yes?
And since it began, and I'm having no symptoms whatsoever, full of energy and able to do everything I want to do, and I owe it all to the to you and the cancer clinic here. It's great. The people up in Utah don't believe that I'm still alive. So it's a great experience.
You're very active in your work. You've been telling me about sometimes working till midnight.
Oh, I work till midnight every night.
Wow.
I've been self-employed for many years. I've been president of various companies and so on that I've started. But at the moment, I'm an electrical engineer, and I do contracts, designing products for companies and for people. And I just actually this week finished another contract, and we'll see what happens. And then I've got, I like to stay active. I can't just sit around and watch television. That would drive me crazy. And so I always have more projects to do, and I'm working on some major ones now that will take several years to come to completion, probably 3 to 5 years, and I'm expecting to be here to complete them. Yeah, my lifestyle is good. I'm enjoying life, and I'm able to do everything I want to do. I can't really leave Arizona at the moment because I'm expecting to be here for quite some time to continue these treatments. But that's a small price to pay to have the life freedom that I have.
I'm glad this is working for you.
It's great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning.
Oh, how did it begin? Is that a good place for you to start with?
I had a sore throat for 3 months, and I ignored it because it wasn't that bad.
The Mayo doctors that you saw were a little bit pessimistic, weren't they?
I actually went to 3 doctors. I started with one, no bedside manner. Went to my second one, liked him a lot. He did a 2.5-hour biopsy, and he found the cancer, but he wanted me to have the very best surgeon that also did robotics of the throat, and so he sent me to Dr. Henney at Mayo, and it was the largest throat tumor he'd ever removed, and it was wrapped around my jugular vein and my carotid artery. And so I had a 10-hour surgery, and then they warned me that it would come back in 5 to 7 months unless I did radiation and chemo. Well, if I had done the radiation and chemo first, I probably wouldn't be talking today or eating my mouth. And the reason I know this is that after the surgery, they pushed the radiation and chemo, and I was going to go through it, and then one day my surgeon said, I don't want to see you for 3 months after. And I said, why is that? And he said, because you're going to be skinny, and you're going to not feel well. And Dr. Henney told him that I had a 50-50 chance of never talking my mouth again or eating my mouth again. And my son told him, he said, my mother wouldn't be happy with that. And then I ran into a friend in Payson, Patty, that had been a patient of Dr. Huber's, and she told me her story, and I said, that's where I'm going. And that week I made an appointment, and I've been in treatment, I think 4 months now, not quite sure, and I feel wonderful, no side effects. I worked 15 hours on Saturday, or 18, I don't know, a lot. I'm very, very active. I feel well. And when I got to Mayo and took them the MRI, they said, we'd like to biopsy the lymph node. And I said, sure, how long will the results take? And they said, 10 minutes. So they left the room and they did the biopsy. And Dr. Henney popped his head in the door and he said, negative. And that's kind of my story.
So the biopsy came back clear,
It was clear.
and there was no evidence of cancer.
No, and I think they were shocked. They were shocked. And it's been a pleasant experience coming here. I love the staff, I love my doctor, and I have no complaints.
Thank you. Well, you have been a pleasure to work with. I want to also clarify that the work that you do, when you said you were working 16 or 18 hours on Saturday, the kind of work you do, you own and manage a very busy restaurant. So Cindy was on her feet. How much of that time?
From 9 a.m. till 2 a.m.
On your feet, working.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I could do that, and I haven't gone.
My heels hurt a little bit the next day.
I believe it.
It was a benefit for a girl that lost her husband in a car accident.
Welcome back. I'm with Dr. Colleen Huber from Nature Works Best Natural Cancer Clinic, along with two of her patients, Brad Cass and Kelly Mendez. And Dr. Huber, thanks for joining us this morning. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
We want to talk first about the kind of success that you've been having with these natural treatments. Let's talk about that first.
Since we opened our clinic in 2005, we've had enormous success, Lisa. As of this year, the success rate is now 93%. That's of the people who have completed our treatments. And of those, we've had 93% go into remission. And this is the highest success rate that I know of in the United States. Really that I know of in the world. I've been looking for other cancer clinics that have as good a success rate. I can't find any. And when I say remission, we know that some of them have complete confirmed remission from their imaging, and others I just know have been staying well. The reason that I know is I call them every July, and I say, it's me again.
How are you doing?
How have you been?
What about the skeptics? They want proof.
Right. For that, I would say to go to our website because the details are there in the data. Or you could click on the summary for a faster interpretation of what's been going on. Nature Works Best is our website.
What are the natural treatments that you do then?
We use high-dose intravenous nutrients because you simply cannot swallow enough pills to defeat a disease as vicious as cancer. So we do treatments that are targeted. Our high-dose intravenous nutrients are targeted to cancer cells to kill cancer cells, but not normal cells. And you can see people, keep their hair and their strength and with these treatments.
Okay, I've got to get to you two now because people want to hear from you. Brad, tell us what's been going on with you.
Yeah, I didn't want to do the traditional chemotherapy, so I got online, found Dr. Huber, came out here to Phoenix from Kansas City.
You did?
Yeah, and I'm doing a combination. I'm using the natural treatments and also a prescription called Rituxan. That's an antibody that targets lymphoma. So the Rituxan targets lymphoma, and then my immune system's built up and it's attacking and killing off that cancer. So I was really sick when I first came out here, and I'm as you can see, I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
90% of the cancer is gone. I'm down to one small mass left, and so I'm hoping for a good Christmas present and have a clean scan by Christmas.
That is pretty amazing. I'm sure people are shocked when they hear your stories. Is yours similar?
It's similar. Last September, I was diagnosed with hepatocellular carcinoma, which is a large malignant tumor in my liver, and didn't want to do the traditional treatments. Found Nature's Works Best, and I feel great. I can do everything I always did. My imaging shows that there's no metastases, it's not growing, and it's almost all benign.
Wow, I'm sure people are out there going, what? How is this possible? I mean, do you talk to your friends? Are they looking at you like, do you change people's minds?
The skeptics are coming along.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. How can people who, I guess, does it matter what stage of cancer you're in? How can they best contact you? Do they have to be at a certain point, or?
No, we've taken in people stage 1 through stage 4. We even have stage 4 people who are in remission now. But I would say it's so much easier for us to get cancer into remission if you come early rather than waiting really, really late. So the earlier you come, the easier it is for us. And they can come to our website, natureworksbest.com.
Wow. Thank you both for sharing your story, too. I know how hard that is sometimes, but I'm so glad to see how well you're both doing, obviously. Right. Thank you, Dr. Huber. So
thank you, Lisa.
If you want more information, I know we just kind of touched the surface there, you can best go to their website, which is natureworksbest.com. You can get all the information there, or call the phone number you see on your screen, and you can ask more questions.
and had a whole bunch of tests.
They want proof.
Right.